Albert and Syl Preciado are a very successful couple. They make very good money. They travel a lot, drive expensive cars, and live in a beautiful house. But their story wasn't always like that. Actually, in order to be where they are at this point in life, they had to go and conquer all sorts of hardships.
In 2008, the mortgage meltdown happened. That's when I lost everything. And when they foreclosed on my home and I became homeless, like I had nothing but my Ford Explorer, a laptop, and an iPhone. But one thing that I learned from my parents and that I stuck to and I believe in, and I'd rather die than be a quitter. So I never quit.
This is the fascinating story of a guy that didn't invest time and money going to college, but he had the instinctive wisdom to invest all of his savings, hiring mentors and people that he thought would help him to make his dreams come true. Let's talk to Albert and Syl Preciado and find out cómo lo hicieron.
Éxito.
Success.
Hábitos.
Habits.
¿Cómo lo hizo?
How do they make it?
Descubra las costumbres y secretos de los triunfadores.
Discover the habits and the secrets of those who have succeeded.
Albert and Syl Preciado, gracias. Thank you so much for being with us in Cómo lo Hizo.
Gracias por tenernos aquí.
Gracias.
All right. So, hope you feel at home. We can, talk freely about what we feel, what we think. This is, just a conversation, a friendly conversation. So, I was checking on some videos that you post in social media, Albert, and I was watching you talk about your young years in LA. You mentioned a growing surrounded by gangs, drugs, bullets. Tell us about it. How was it?
Well, it was a learning experience. I just thought it was fun because I was a little kid. So
How old are you?
I was like 5, 6, 7.
All right.
Yeah, but I thought it was fun because when my mom or my dad would say like they're gonna shoot, me decían, agáchate. And I knew that it was like, I would have fun, like running to the couch and just like diving and diving underneath. And it was kind of fun because I still don't know what it feels to get a bullet hit you. But yeah, I thought it was fun because I grew up watching like Batman and, and you see all the shots and everything, and it's kind of cool.
So it was kind of a movie for you in your imagination.
Yeah.
As a child.
Yeah.
That was where?
That was in Echo Park.
Echo Park. That's
Beverly and Burlington. I don't know if you know where that is.
Yeah. I mean, that's hot.
Yeah.
That's nice. But anyways, and what about you, Sylvia? Syl?
I grew up in La Puente. Soy de Zacatecas. So, vine aquí cuando tenía, creo que 2 años, por ahí, casi los 3.
Has anybody ever told you, sácate?
Sí, y yo crecí en La Puente. En realidad no conocí nada hasta que me gradué de la high school. So once I left high school, I was like, okay, there's another world outside of La Puente. So.
Interesting. And you, Albert, you came from Mexico?
I was born here in L.A.
Okay.
But my parents are both from Mexico City, so they came when they were 30, and they taught me how to speak Spanish and nothing else, no other language. So when it was my turn to go to elementary school, they said we're gonna send them to Granada Hills because Granada Hills is a safer environment. So I took the school bus, an hour ride. I cried the whole way. And when I got there, I thought I was like in like it was another galaxy because everybody had yellow hair and freckles, and everybody was white. So I was like, who the hell are these people? And it was because it was a white community. So I was the only brown. I was like one of the 5 brown kids in the whole school. So they put me in special ed class, and then they ended up finding out, well, he's not really special ed. The problem with him is that he doesn't speak English, so he doesn't understand. And that was my start in elementary school.
That was so interesting. And you guys are married. I have to disclosure that. And So, and you also are partners in business, correct?
Yes, we are.
So what was first, love or business?
I think, well, when I met him, he was doing real estate, right? And I was like, what does this guy do? He was like, I was a waitress and a bartender, and he was picking up these $15,000, $20,000 checks. I've never seen so much money in one check at once, really. And then he's like, well, I could introduce you to this realtor and you could start doing real estate with him. So that's what we did. So technically, I would say it was business first, and then we started hanging out a lot. Then he realized how smart I was and beneficial I was to his business.
You want to hear the real story?
Okay, now what's your side? The side of the story.
She's just really conservative. But the way I met her was at In-N-Out. I went out nightclubbing with my friends, and then she went out nightclubbing with her friends. And then after the club, you want to go eat. You want to get a nice bite. So we were leaving the club, heading to In-N-Out, and so was she. And my friend tells me, hey, you got to meet this drop-dead gorgeous girl in this white dress. And because I was like the guy, like they were following me because I would pay the bills, and I was like kind of like the popular one. So they would go out with me because they knew I would get tables, and there was a lot of girls and the tables and all that stuff. So he called me right away, and he's like, Albert, you got to meet this girl. I go there, and I'm like, Sylvia always had like these nice legs, and she always used to wear the shortest skirt you could ever find. And I was like, whoa, those are some nice legs. And I said, I got to go talk to her. So I followed her to In-N-Out. We went to In-N-Out, got her number, and I closed her on that same night for her to go with me and go to my house for an after party that I told her. But little did I know that when I entered the freeway, because she said she was going to follow me, but when I turned into the freeway, she just kept going straight. And then I'm like, shh, like I'm not allowed to cuss right here. So like I was like, shoot, but I said the other word, and I couldn't go back, so I had to leave. And then luckily I got her number, and she gave me the right number, and then that's where it all started. And then then from there on, after 8 months of me trying to get her on a date, she finally went out with me, and she was history.
That's awesome. So you were in real estate already. How old were you?
I was about 24 and she was 21.
So you were young and you already were successful in your...
Yeah, that's a whole nother story. I was making a lot of money, and that was the year that I lost it all.
Okay, so did you get married before you lost it all?
No, after.
After. So, okay, so what happened?
Well, I was making a lot of money, and my priorities were messed up. So my priorities were parties, girls, and not work. I still worked, but I wasn't intelligent with business making my business decisions, and I didn't have any mentors. I didn't have as much knowledge as I needed. So my priorities were all messed up. And I had bad friends, toxic environments, and like I lost it all because I made wrong decisions. And then when I lost it all, I was a bad guy. Like with women, I was going out with a lot of women and waking up late. And then little by little, they foreclosed one of my houses. I had 2 houses. They foreclosed another one. Then they repossessed my Mercedes, and then they started cutting my electricity, then my gas. Finally, when I have no electricity, and then they cut my gas, like it was really cold where I lived, because I lived in the hills in Pasadena. So it was like taking cold, lonely showers. I couldn't fake it anymore. So finally, I told her one day when they cut my gas, "Hey, can you pick me up?" And I hadn't, so I couldn't see, I couldn't shower. It was too cold. So she picked me up, and we went to eat. And then during the day, I was good because the sun came out. But she forgave me, and when they foreclosed on my home and I became homeless, like I had nothing but my Ford Explorer, a laptop, and an iPhone. And she said, she answered my call and she picked me up, and I was good. And because when I lost everything, I realized that all the friends went away because I didn't have any money, no more parties, no more fun, no more women, no more alcohol, no more all of that. So she forgave me. And every year after that, my life and our lives has gotten better and better and better.
So that's interesting. It's an amazing story. But beyond that, you just said it with such a freedom, and I appreciate that. However, who told you that you were going in the wrong way? Because you could keep going in that direction and forget it, and you'd be lost by now. Did anybody mention or mentor you or told you? Somebody was what? An inspiration from where?
Since I was born, my parents always were great parents. They loved me very much, and they overprotected me. And because that's the way they knew, that's the only way they knew. Overprotect, love, and care. And they taught me one really important thing, which was hard work. So my dad took me with him to paint, because my dad was a painter in Beverly Hills. He used to paint houses in Beverly Hills. So he took me with him when I was 6. And that was the first time I went to Beverly Hills, and I saw these mansions, and I saw a red Ferrari. And at 6 years old, I promised my dad that, because I told my dad, how come you don't drive a Ferrari? And obviously, like, when we're ducking and running away from gunshots and there's drug dealing going on outside, that's not a good place to have a Ferrari. But I didn't understand that because I was a kid. So my dad told me that it's not for us. And I said, what do you mean? And so he explained that it was really hard to do that. You had to work really hard and in order to achieve that level of success. So I promised my dad, that's what I want to do, and I'm going to work my ass off, and I'm going to do it, and I'm going to make you guys proud, and I'm going to get a red Ferrari. So that's where the whole Ferrari thing started, because it's been a dream of mine since I was 6 years old. And I did it for my parents, one of the reasons.
So your inspiration were your parents.
Yeah.
Because you were going in the wrong direction, wrong way. You lost everything. You became technically homeless, right?
And I was so ashamed because people asked me, well, how come you just didn't go back to your parents' house and stay there right away? And I was just ashamed to go back and tell them that I failed, that I messed up. So that's why we used to sleep in the Ford Explorer, but it wasn't that bad because we used to pick the best neighborhoods. So we were staying like in the hills. Sometimes we would stay in Beverly Hills.
So you both together were spending the night in the car.
In the car, yeah, we did everything in the car.
Wow. Quítate. Así le diría.
I mean, we had some of the best times in that car. Some of the best nights.
Let me say something. It's funny because a lot of people are like, "Oh my God, that's so horrible." And I think it's all about perspective, really. And we were young. Obviously, I couldn't take him to my mom's house, vice versa. We were just trying to figure out what to do.
So you left home?
Well, I was kind of like, technically, yes. But I could still go there and be like, hey, Mom, or whatnot, right? But I'm not going to be like, hey, I'm living with the guy in his car. That would be kind of weird. But I don't know. When I think about it, it wasn't so bad.
And then what happened? How did you were able to put it together and come back and be successful?
Well, before that, just to share a little bit more, in 2008, the mortgage meltdown happened. That's when I lost everything, the mortgage crash. Because I've been a mortgage originator, a loan originator my entire life. I started in real estate for like a month or two, and then I just transitioned to loans, mortgages. So I've been the mortgage guy, which is the name of the company, the Mortgage Guys.
Correct, yeah.
Since I started really into business. And I lost everything in 2008. But one thing that I learned from my parents and that I stuck to and I believe in, and I'd rather die than be a quitter. So I never quit, and I'll never quit. You'll find me dead before I quit. And I stayed in the business, and that's why I said, you know what? When the mortgage meltdown happened, a lot of mortgage people left the industry and went to a different thing, because now people that were, people that had no skills, that got into the business just to make big commissions, they had no skills, so they couldn't survive. So I stayed, and I knew that I could fight it through, and that's why we slept in the Ford Explorer, because all we needed was really a place to sleep and a place to shower and a computer to work and a cell phone to make calls and call clients. And we would use the gym. We would sneak into the gym because I couldn't afford the gym. So I would sneak into the gym and shower there, work out, because I always been into health, into fitness. Even when I was, like drinking and partying and doing all those crazy things, I would still exercise, but it was in a good combination. So I stuck with it, and my income dropped from $240,000 a year to about $40,000 a year. And obviously I couldn't afford the same lifestyle. So that's why I lost everything. But then every year it increased from 60 to 80, from 80 to over 100, from 100 to 150, and then I got to 300, and then every year kept getting better.